Seiko's production strategy has created unprecedented scarcity as certain models vanish from retailers faster than they can restock them in 2025. The watch community is panicking as beloved references disappear permanently while others become increasingly difficult to find at reasonable prices anywhere. We're talking watches that were readily available just months ago now, commanding premiums on secondary markets as collectors realize too late. From discontinued classics to limited production runs, from regional exclusives to simply overwhelmed demand, these Seiko watches are evaporating before our eyes. Number 10. Seiko 5 Sports GMT SSK005. The Seiko 5 Sports GMT SSK005 is vanishing rapidly as collectors realize this represents the most affordable true GMT available anywhere at $450. This accessible timepiece features genuine collar GMT movement, with independent hour hand adjustment that luxury brands charge thousands for routinely. Retailers report the SSK005 selling out within days of restocking, as word spreads about Seiko democratizing GMT complications at unprecedented pricing. The variety of colorways means certain dial colors have already disappeared completely, with remaining stock commanding premiums on secondary markets immediately. Online forums show collectors desperately searching for specific variants as availability dwindles, and Seiko's production cannot keep pace with demand. The 42.5mm case and exhibition case back create compelling package that enthusiasts recognize as exceptional value before it disappears. What's causing the disappearance is collectors buying multiple variants knowing GMT complications at this pricing won't last forever. The combination of true GMT functionality, automatic movement, and sub-$500 pricing creates unsustainable value that market forces will correct. Number 9. Seiko Prospex SPB143 62 MAS Reinterpretation. The Seiko Prospex SPB143 62 MAS Reinterpretation is evaporating from retailers as collectors chase the perfect modern interpretation of legendary dive watch. This heritage timepiece recreates iconic 62 MAS design with modern specifications, including sapphire crystal and improved water resistance throughout. Authorized dealers report waiting lists developing as production cannot satisfy demand from collectors wanting accessible heritage dive watches with proven design. The Sunburst Blue Dial variant has become particularly scarce, with remaining examples commanding premiums approaching $1,500 on secondary markets. Social media groups show desperate collectors offering trades and premiums for SPB 143s as retail availability becomes increasingly uncertain. The 6R35 movement with 70-hour power reserve and exhibition case back creates modern classic that enthusiasts recognize before scarcity drives prices. What's driving disappearance is the SPB 143, representing peak affordable Seiko, combining heritage design with modern specifications perfectly. The discontinuation rumors and production constraints create artificial scarcity as collectors panic buy remaining inventory before permanent unavailability. Number 8. Seiko Presage Cocktail Time SRPB 41. The Seiko Presage Cocktail Time SRPB 41 is disappearing as Seiko shifts production to newer dial patterns, leaving the classic blue sunburst increasingly scarce. This elegant timepiece features stunning multi-layered sunburst dial that collectors now recognize as peak cocktail time aesthetic before changes. Retailers report the SRPB 41 selling through inventory with no clear restocking timeline as Seiko's catalog evolves away from original variants. The blue dial variant specifically commands premiums on secondary markets as collectors realize this represents the definitive cocktail time that started phenomenon. Online marketplaces show declining availability, with remaining examples priced $100, $200 above original retail, reflecting growing scarcity throughout markets. The 4R35 movement and exhibition case back demonstrate the SRPB 41 delivered exceptional value that newer variants don't quite replicate. What's causing disappearance is production shifting to new references, leaving the original blue cocktail time as increasingly collectible. The combination of iconic status and production changes creates perfect storm for scarcity and value appreciation. Number 7. Seiko Prospex Turtle SRP 777. The Seiko Prospex Turtle SRP 777 vanished from production, leaving collectors chasing remaining new old stock at inflating prices everywhere. This iconic timepiece features the legendary cushion case that created cult following among dive watch enthusiasts worldwide for distinctive character. The discontinuation of original SRP 777 reference created immediate scarcity, as collectors realized Seiko's most affordable turtle disappeared permanently. Secondary markets show SRP 777s commanding premiums approaching double original retail, as collectors desperately seek original reference before permanent unavailability. The 4R36 movement and distinctive case shape create combination that newer turtle variants don't replicate exactly despite similar aesthetics. Watch forums document collectors offering trades and premiums for mint condition SRP 777s, with original boxes and papers documenting provenance. What's driving complete disappearance is Seiko replacing SRP 777 with new references, leaving original as increasingly collectible discontinued icon. The combination of iconic design and discontinued status creates investment potential that smart collectors recognize too late. Number 6. Seiko Alpinist, SPB 121. The Seiko Alpinist SPB 121 is becoming increasingly scarce as production constraints cannot satisfy demand from collectors wanting modern alpinist capability. This adventure timepiece features internal rotating compass bezel and 200-meter water resistance, creating versatile tool watch for outdoor enthusiasts. Authorized dealers report sporadic availability, with units selling immediately upon arrival as back orders accumulate throughout distribution networks globally. The green dial variant particularly difficult to find, with collectors searching months for opportunities to purchase at reasonable retail pricing. Social media shows collectors celebrating successful purchases as if winning lotteries, reflecting the difficulty securing SPB 121s at retail anymore. The 6R35 movement with exhibition caseback and modern specifications create compelling package that collectors recognize before permanent scarcity. What's causing disappearance is SPB 121, representing peak modern alpinists that collectors realize they need before unavailable. The combination of distinctive design, practical features, and production constraints creates perfect conditions for scarcity and appreciation. Number 5. Seiko King Seiko SPB 287. The Seiko King Seiko SPB 287 is disappearing rapidly as collectors recognize this represents accessible entry into revived King Seiko heritage. This refined timepiece revives legendary King Seiko name with modern specifications and finishing quality exceeding standard Seiko offerings. Limited production numbers compared to mass-market Seiko models create relative scarcity as enthusiasts chase King Seiko before permanent unavailability. Certain dial variants have already vanished completely from retail, with secondary market premiums developing for sold-out configurations. The 6L35 movement and superior finishing demonstrate the SPB 287 occupies special position between standard Seiko and Grand Seiko pricing. Watch communities show collectors buying King Seikos as investments, recognizing the revived name carries collectability beyond just specifications. What's driving disappearance is limited production, creating genuine scarcity as King Seiko awareness grows throughout collecting communities. The combination of heritage name, superior finishing, and limited availability creates perfect formula for scarcity and appreciation. Number 4. Seiko Prospex, Arnie, SNJZ025. The Seiko Prospex, Arnie SNJ0225 vanishes from retailers immediately upon restocking as collectors chase the legendary hybrid dive watch design. This iconic timepiece features analog digital display that Arnold Schwarzenegger made famous, creating instant recognition and desirability among collectors. Production cannot satisfy demand as both watch collectors and Schwarzenegger fans compete for limited inventory, creating impossible availability. The 200-meter water resistance and solar charging create practical specifications, while the Arnie name carries cultural significance beyond specifications. Secondary markets show SNJ025's commanding premiums, with some variants selling 50% above retail, reflecting desperate demand for limited supply. The hybrid display provides redundancy that collectors appreciate, while the overall design creates distinctive character impossible to replicate. What's causing complete disappearance is Arnie name creating crossover appeal, attracting buyers beyond traditional watch collecting demographics. The combination of movie legacy, distinctive design, and production constraints creates perfect storm for permanent scarcity. Number 3. Seiko 5 Sports SRPD Series. The Seiko 5 Sports SRPD series is evaporating as Seiko shifts production, leaving original configurations increasingly scarce across all variants. This versatile platform features endless dial and bezel combinations that collectors now chase before permanent discontinuation of original references. Certain colorways have already disappeared completely, with remaining stock commanding premiums, as collectors complete sets before impossible. The 4R36 movement and exhibition case back demonstrate the SRPD delivered exceptional mechanical value at sub-$300 pricing. Modification communities show SRPD prices rising as the platform becomes collectible base for custom builds and personalizations. The variety of special editions and collaborations means comprehensive SRPD collecting has become increasingly expensive as scarcity develops. What's driving disappearance is SRPD representing peak affordable mechanical Seiko that production changes are eliminating permanently. The combination of mechanical movement, versatile design, and production shifts creates collectability across entire platform. Number 2, Seiko Presage Sharp Edge GMT SPB219. The Seiko Presage Sharp Edge GMT SPB219 is vanishing as collectors recognize this delivers true GMT complications with distinctive contemporary design. This sophisticated timepiece features 6R54 GMT movement, allowing independent hour hand adjustment at prices significantly below Swiss competitors. Limited production numbers create genuine scarcity as word spreads about the SPB219, representing exceptional GMT value currently available. The Sharp Edge case design photographs beautifully, creating social media appeal that drives demand beyond traditional GMT watch demographics. Authorized dealers report immediate sellouts, with waiting lists developing as production cannot satisfy demand from collectors wanting accessible GMT. The variety of dial colors creates collectability, with certain variants already commanding premiums, reflecting growing scarcity throughout markets. What's causing disappearance is SPB219, delivering specifications that shouldn't exist at this pricing, creating unsustainable value proposition. The combination of true GMT functionality, contemporary design, and accessible pricing creates perfect conditions for rapid disappearance. Number 1. Seiko Prospex 1968 Divers Recreation SLA033. The Seiko Prospex 1968 Divers Recreation SLA033 absolutely dominates as fastest disappearing Seiko by combining heritage recreation with limited production. This prestigious timepiece faithfully recreates the legendary 1968 automatic diver with modern high beat movement and premium specifications. The limited production numbers create genuine scarcity, with authorized dealers selling through allocation immediately upon release worldwide. The high beat 8L55 movement with 55-hour power reserve demonstrates Seiko's commitment to heritage recreation with modern mechanical excellence. Secondary markets show SLA033s commanding significant premiums, with some examples selling $1,000 Schwalbas above retail, reflecting desperate demand. The box sapphire crystal and vintage-inspired aesthetics create authentic recreation that collectors recognize as peak heritage Seiko. What makes this disappear fastest is limited production meeting insatiable demand from collectors wanting legitimate heritage dive watches. The combination of high beat movement, faithful recreation, premium specifications, and limited availability creates ultimate disappearing Seiko. The SLA033 proves that Seiko's limited editions vanish instantly when heritage, quality, and scarcity align perfectly, creating investment-grade timepieces.